On a cold February morning, I've decided to go to our vegetable garden, what's left of it after this cold. We had snow a few weeks ago, to get some Radicchio trevigiano, the red Radicchio plant from northern Italy, the region of the Veneto. Radicchio trevigiano grows well in the area of Padova, Treviso, hence Trevigiano of Treviso. The region of the Veneto. Yes, that Radicchio trevigiano is EGP, Indicazione Geografica Protetta, a very special product which can only be grown in a certain area. We can grow Radicchio trevigiano here, but we just simply call it our Radicchio. It's not Radicchio trevigiano. We're not in Treviso. So in we go to our garden. What's left of the winter garden. I took some parsley yesterday for a recipe I did yesterday, and that's the end of the parsley. Here we have the end of the cabbage plants, and I do have a couple Radicchio trevigiano. Come on over and let's have a look. So we're going to make pasta with Radicchio trevigiano. Now you can see it's winter time. This Radicchio is delicious. The long part, you discard the leaves, discard the outer leaves. I'm going to throw all these actually to our goats. And after you get down to the heart of the Radicchio, you can split it, turn it over, season it with olive oil and balsamic vinegar and bake it in the oven. But we're going to do a pasta today. So this part is going to go to the goats. I'm stripping off all the outer leaves. I've been out in the garden already this morning and done some weeding. Our goats will be very happy with the discarded leaves. And I think I'm just gonna, actually I'm gonna take in two, because one is gonna be for the pasta dish, and then one is going to be for baking. And for baking, actually we've got all these little guys. Perfect for baking. There's almost nothing left. This one's not even coming out. There we go. And I'll clean these up later to do baked radicchio al forno. But now we're going in the house to wash and prepare this for a pasta dish I'm going to make today with Radicchio trevigiano and something very special that's just come as a gift to me from the States. Pecans, toasted pecans, Radicchio, garlic, olive oil, and a little bit of Pino's capocolo, and we're going to have a delicious pasta dish. Let's go in and cook. Radicchio trevigiano has been a part of the Italian culinary traditions of northern Italy since at least the 16th century, for it was painted by Leandro da Ponte, called Il Bassano because he was from Bassano in the Veneto area, in the Marriage of Cana, which is now in the Louvre. And the Radicchio is in the lower left-hand corner with an abundant array of vegetables. And this leafy Radicchio you can see just in the left-hand corner right near a split melon. Now, to make a penne alla Radicchio, we are going to use some of the capocollo, this part of the pig, which is formed of the meat of the head, capo, and neck, collo. And this was made by Pino. No, we did not kill a pig this year. He purchased the meat and then created the capocollo. And he is slicing capocollo for me, and then he will dice the slices, and they are going to be used in this pasta made with the Radicchio salad from our garden called Radicchio trevigiano. And something popped a cork here. That's our olive oil. And on Pino goes with his slicing. This recipe can be made with prosciutto, diced prosciutto, but we're going to use some diced capocollo because I wish to make this with ingredients from our home. It will include our olive oil, our capocolo, and our radicchio. I think we'll also season it with our grated goat's milk cheese. And in just a second, Pino will be dicing it.
Per favore.
Pino,
Prendo un piatto.
Pino, scusa, è buono il capocolo?
Speravo.
He said he hopes so. Now I'm going to stop for a second.
Le cose che faccio io sono tutte buone.
He says, generally whatever I make is good. Beh, il vino sì è squisito. Dove è il vino tuo?
Eccolo.
Ce l'abbiamo. Eccolo, il vino di Pino. Okay, a plate. And now Pino is going to slice this for me into very small cubes. And these little tidbits will be combined with radicchio, garlic, olive oil, and you will see how we're going to make this pasta al radicchio. We'll probably use penne pasta. Penne al radicchio. So Pino will first slice, and then he will cube it. Pino, grazie del tuo aiuto. Thank you, Pino.
You're welcome. Ti basta questo o non vuoi più?
No, questo mi basta. He asks if this is enough. Sì. According to Pino, it's not enough. Beh, faccio la pasta per 4 persone, beh. He says precisely. We're going to add more. Okay, on we go. Pino wants to add a little bit more. Grazie, Pinuzzo. Pino has nicely diced this capocolo for us for the pasta dish I'm sort of inventing on this cold November day with pecans, which have just been brought to me from the States, always a treasured gift, garlic, capocolo, our goat's milk cheese, and if you can't get it, our goat's milk cheese, nicely aged, use nice pecorino cheese, which has a little bit of a bite to it, our olive oil. I'll use fusilli pasta today, this twisty one, but rigatoni works as well as penne. I have a little bit of majoram here from our garden. And the reason I have it is Pino has suggested I steam the capocolo in a little bit of white wine, which I have here, and a little bit of this herb, the majoram, to soften it up before I put it in the pasta. So I will be taking his advice. Here is the radicchio from our garden. Very beautiful is this radicchio. It's a cold November, but this is still surviving. And I'm going to peel off the outer leaves and wash them. So I'm probably going to use, I don't know, 8 or 10 leaves of radicchio. Wash them and dice them. Take a little bit more of the exterior. And then I think the interior part I am going to split down the middle and put in the oven in a pan lined with olive oil. I'll split this in 2 perhaps, sprinkle salt, add olive oil, bake it, and at the end add some nice balsamic vinegar, and we'll have a nice baked vegetable for our dinner. But let's get on with the pasta now. So this I will wash and then finely dice it. And I'm also going to now put the capocolo in a little bit of water, very little water, wine, majoram, and let it just simmer for a couple minutes. Another thing that I'd like to do now is toast the pecans. I'm heating up here the little tidbits of capocolo with the white wine and the majoram. And I've actually put 1 little hot red pepper right in there. Why not? It'll add a nice little kick. This is more radicchio from our garden. And I'm later going to wash them and bake them with the heart of the radicchio that we're using today. It's time now to grate our goat's milk cheese. Always on your pasta, serve freshly grated cheese. You can grate it by hand, or for next Christmas, you can get the wonderful little present that I got one year from Pino. And there's my cheese grating away. Nothing like freshly grated cheese. And there we go. Our cheese is now ready. I'll later put it in my little deruta maiolica cheese bowl. But right now, I'm taking the pecans over to our wood stove, which is lit. It heats our house in the winter, and I use it for cooking. The water here is boiling. And I'm going to put the pecans, I'm going to toast them in the wood stove just about 5 minutes. And there we go. And then when they come out, I will have diced pecans, the capocollo, and I'm going to saute them together in olive oil with garlic, hot red pepper, and at the very end, add the radicchio, which we will now dice. I'm going to dice the radicchio, and I'll just go right down the middle of the stalks. I've lined them all up going in the same direction. They've all been nicely washed. I'm sort of splitting the stalks in the middle, so it'll be easier for me to dice the radicchio. And I'm going to have a little bit of the stem, which will be just fine because it all has flavor. Wonderful, unmistakable of the Radicchio Trevigiano. Not to miss when you're next in Italy. Even if you're not in the Veneto area, you'll be able to purchase it all over Italy. Just ask for Radicchio Trevigiano. And if you're in the north, do ask for Radicchio Trevigiano Arrostito. What a trip. There we have our diced radicchio. And actually, it's probably more than I'm going to need for the pasta. So why not? I think today we'll also have a little bit of bruschetta, toasted bread rubbed with garlic and olive oil, topped with radicchio, then maybe popped in the oven with mozzarella to melt on top. Crostini di radicchio and mozzarella, why not? But for now, let's think about our pasta. Here it is, all diced. Now I have in our olive oil, the capocollo diced, garlic clove finely diced, a hot red pepper, and in goes the radicchio, and the toasted pecans. Giving them a light, gentle stir. And I'm going to turn down the heat. Now I have the pasta water boiling. And in goes the salt. QB, quanto basta. As much as you need. And this is how much? About 2 handfuls. And I'm making pasta for 4 today. I'm going to add a little bit of salt here, but not too much. I'll taste it later. And just to soften everything up, I'm going to simmer it, give it a stir, lower the heat, and it will cook about as long as it takes to make the pasta. And I'm going to add the pasta now. How much pasta? 2 handfuls for every person. First person, second person, third person, and the 4th person joining us. Pasta for 4. Bring it to a boil, and then lower the heat. And of course, you know the rule. Cook it until it's al dente. To the tooth. We're not going to overcook it at all. I don't want this to dry at all, and so I'm going to add a touch of brodo della pasta. And have a look at the consistency that we like. Just about like that. Our pasta with radicchio and pecans and capocollo. And if you're cooking for vegetarians, take out the capocollo. This looks al dente to me. perfettamente al dente. Time to drain it. And always, when draining pasta, a little bit of the water, called the brodo del pasta, will be saved in case you wish to add it to your sugo. In Italian, you'd say per allungare il sugo. That is, to make it a bit creamier. Now we're going to serve our pasta. And here's our sugo, radicchio and pecans. Garlic, olive oil, a touch of hot red pepper. Profumo buono. And I'm going to bring our formaggio di caprino, our goat's milk cheese made by Pino, to the table, so the guests can decide for themselves how much formaggio or cheese they'd like on this pasta. Join us someday for pasta with radicchio, capocollo, and pecans. And if I can't get pecans from America, we'll use walnuts from our trees. Buon appetito. And join us for a wonderful side dish, radicchio al forno, and this will be especially enjoyed by any vegetarians visiting us. But also do realize that the pasta with radicchio and pecans can easily be made as a vegetarian dish. Just leave out prosciutto or capocollo. To do radicchio al forno, you wash the sheath or the bulb of the radicchio. If it's large, split it down the middle. The two on the right were smaller ones, and they weren't split at all. They were put in the oven. In a pan, I put olive oil on the bottom, put them in the pan a bit until they started to brown, and then I turned them over, added balsamic vinegar, and let them sit in the oven a few more minutes. Sprinkled them with salt, coarse salt. How much salt? You know now, QB. Quanto basta, as much as it takes. So radicchio al forno, a wonderful dish as well.